Kyra. We are beginning lesson 13, and we're also going to start reading from an Ephesian tale. The cover's lurid, but it's a story written by Xenophon of Ephesus, and this is a text I'd hope you would buy along with Chase and Phillips for yourself. If you don't, I'll try to get an extra copy for Tyburn's library, but this would be an important one to buy. Okay, an Ephesian tale. You'll need it for next year. Also, Chase and Phillips, you really should buy one of these. The reason being that hopefully you really care about the life of the mind and you want to keep doing this in college or just studying it on your own, right? And it'll be helpful to have these books with you. If you don't, I am going to post what you need from the books as we go. I think I'm going to put it under fair use because we're in an independent study and we're basically sharing a book. So I'll be using it at one time and then you'll be using it electronically at another time when I'm not using it. I hope that works out. Anyway, so we're going to start with book 1. So this is Attic Greek. It is pure Attic Greek. This is the Mediterranean world of an Ephesian tale, right? Okay. So you can see Mare Nostrum is what the Romans called our sea, right? So you have the boot of Italy. You have Sicily, the ball being kicked by the boot. You have Greece, right? You have Asia Minor, Egypt, vast North Africa, right? And where is Ephesus? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, gosh. Ephesus is right here in Asia Minor, right? See? Ephesus. Ephesus is right there in Asia Minor. So we're going to start with book 1. There's a lot of humor in this. If you care about humor. If you don't, just put up with it because Greek is still valuable. Okay. Ein en Epheso aner ta prota eke dunamenon luncomedes onema. There was in Ephesus a man there, a little redundant in English, of the men of power. He was a man of might, highest, whose name was Lycomedes. Now, how do we put this in English? Well, dunamis means powerful, strong, or power itself. So we would say dynamite, which is an English derivative of dunamis, right? Or straight TNT, right? This guy was really strong, really tough. Okay, so let's look at ein. Ein, oh, there was. Third person singular imperfect active indicative. Oh gosh, we just had that, right? That's the imperfect form of aiming to be. All of this stuff, not only are you going to have access to the vocabulary and the written notes, which I'm posting for you, right? But you can also pick this out using Chase and Phillips. So I'm doing the first 4 lines, and I want you to just read through the rest of it. And this is on the honor system. This is just read through the rest of it, just see what you can pick up. And all you have to do is look at the notes below, read it out loud in Greek, and just try to familiarize yourself with it as we go. Tuto to Lucomede eik gonaikos epikorio themistus genetai pais abrocomes mega ti crema calus ute en Ionia ute en ale ge proteran genomenu. Whoa, that's a long sentence. To this, Lycomedes was born from a native woman, Themisto, a child, Hebrocomes, great in strength and beauty in Ionia. Nor in any other land earlier was there born such a one. Well, it's a little clunky. Let's put it, okay. So basically, this big, beautiful kid was born. His name was Hebrocomes, nice hair. And look, nobody was born like this guy before. So this is all about romance. We're setting up the hero, right? We have the hero and the ingenue, right? Hero, ingenue. Okay. I'd like you to try 4 through 7, but remember, you don't have to submit anything for that. I just want you to read through the Greek, look at the explanatory notes, and give that a whack, okay? This is to hopefully keep you interested. I really would suggest you get this book and this one, right? And try to work on it over the summer, at least what we've already gone over, and get ready to tackle next year. I'm telling you, too, and this is true, this is going to look ridiculously good on your transcript and when you're applying. It's going to show that you're going the extra mile to work hard. Also, if you care about the classics and all the disciplines it touches, etymology, archaeology, linguistics, right? All kinds of disciplines that are academic. Science, math, gosh, they use Latin and Greek all the time. So this is very useful academically. So if you want a career as, say, a professor or researcher or research scientist or something, or scientist, then this is actually useful information, right? Okay, so that will be posted. Next, we're turning to Chase and Phillips. All right. So please turn to chapter 13, me verbs. Mu iota verbs. That's on page 45. Okay, so basically there's an entire tense of verbs, and it's basically as common as the normal O verbs, like paidawo. Yeah, I know, it's really unfair. So if you turn to page 170, in the back, you'll find a chart with the omega verbs, the O verbs, like paidawo. You find contract verbs like tamao and philao, on page 175. Okay. Appendix 6. Finally, Appendix 7, you find the me verbs. Okay, this is just another form of verb. The important thing at this point is really that you memorize one of the paradigm verbs and that you can sort of pick out the paradigm, okay? Really, you can memorize what the English for the aorist is, or for the present, third person singular, present active indicative. Because then you can apply that to the Greek chart and use the Greek chart to look up the word you're trying to find. Okay. The old way was simply to memorize all of the Greek verbs, learn them cold, and then you'd get to the text and you could run through in your mind how to do that. We don't tend to train human computers anymore. We have AI do that. And I hate to say it now that we have like Project Gutenberg and especially the Perseus project, where it has every Greek word and all the major texts hyperlinked, I don't do it as much either. Yep. All right, chapter 13. Histemi, I make stand. I make to stand. So, for example, this pen, histemi. Oh, I make to stand. Oh, now it falls. Okay, make to stand, right? Okay, you're making it to stand. Okay. Let's see. The book, right? I'm making the book to stand. Okay. You're doing something to something else. Yes. Histemi, I make stand. Histes, you make stand. Histesi, he, she, it make stand. Histamen, we make stand. Histata, you all make stand. Histasi, they make stand. Now, that's not given to you right there. So you have to fill that information in. But you can get it from I make stand, right? That's the first one. The next one, imperfect. Histain, I was making stand. Oh, you take that and you apply it. You use deductive inference. You take what you know, the imperfect translation of I was making stand, of histain, and you apply it to histes, histe, histamen, histata, histasan. So, I was making to stand. Histain. Okay. Histes, you were making to stand. Histe, he, she, it was making to stand. Histamen, we were making to stand. Histata, you all were making to stand. Histasan, they were making to stand. Present infinitive, histanai. Now, the aorist is tricky. Imperfect action is continuous action in the past. The aorist action is sort of completed simple action. And it's not like perfect action, because the perfect tense, which we will get to, but not yet, is action that has happened in the past, but its effects really continue into the present. The aorist is much simpler. It's simple action completed in the past, often in relation to other past action. Okay. So the second aorist, I stood, estain, estes, estes, estamen, esteta, estesan, I stood. So the ones that you would want to memorize and sort of tuck away, or at least write down on note cards so you have access to it easily, would be histemi and estain in their translations. Maybe the infinitives too. All right, turn to the page. Egosh, this is a common word. Didomi, I give. Didomi, didos, didosi, didama, didada, didasi. Didoai. Didn't to give. All right. Imperfect, edidun, I was giving. Edoka, I gave. All right. Important verb, you see it all the time. You should at least know where to look it up. Hint, hint, use that appendix in the back. Okay, there's a lot of stuff about Plato mutes and delighted vowels and all that kind of stuff. You can skip that. Unless you want to go into linguistics. If you really care about linguistics, go for it. Read that stuff. Look it up on YouTube. Tell me how much it matters and how much I should have included it. Go ahead. All right, next, the reading. We're just going to do 1, 2, and 4, and then diagram sentence 4. Your homework is to diagram sentence 4 and to translate 1, 2, and 4. And to copy the vocabulary on pages 47 and 48. Now, guess what? I'm going over the vocabulary with you, and I'm going over the correct answers to the sentences for you, too. So please, try to nail this, okay? This should be an ace in the hole, hole in one, shooting fish in a barrel, right? And that's okay. This is an independent study. We're trying to expose you to Greek. Hopefully you'll take off with this, and we'll see next year. All right. Entausa un estesan hoi Hellenes. Here, or it could be there, so you have to use context, and there isn't much. So, let's say here. Just because I don't want to say there, therefore. Here, therefore, the Greeks made a stand. Oh, they made a stand. So yes, to make something stand, also metaphorically to make a stand. Nice. Nice. Not confusing at all. All right. Estesan is third plural, aorist active indicative. Yep. Okay. Remember, if you get to one of these me verbs and you're like, I don't remember, all you have to remember is page 178 in this book. Okay, Appendix 7, me verbs, page 178. You turn to it, you look, bam. Okay. 2. Tote de apestesan proskuron hai poles plain miletu. That'll be the year after next if we get to the story of Xenophon's Anabasis and Cyrus, who tries to take over Persia. But then the cities went over to Cyrus, except for Miletus. Now, we're getting to the point where the sentences are complicated enough that I have to prepare them ahead of time. Oh gosh, yeah! Some of these are actually real Greek sentences, too. So, like the same thing for this, right? See that? For an Ephesian tale, right? So, you aren't going to find native Greek speakers running around, native ancient Greek speakers anyway, lots of native Greek speakers. There's a movement to move towards that, but we're not there yet. Basically, you have to learn how to prepare a text. This has been going on in Greek in the West since the Renaissance. Before that in Latin, back into the Dark Ages, back into antiquity. Basically, you're preparing a text. You have to figure out what it means. You're picking out the meaning from it. The word for to read in Latin and in Greek, they're just spelled differently, is lego. L-E-G-O in Latin. Lego, I pick out. I choose. And lambda, epsilon, gamma, omega, Lego, in Greek. So to pick out the meaning, to pick out the words from each other, because remember, the Romans and the Greeks generally didn't use spaces, right? So they just run all the words together, and you had to pick them out by knowing the language. Yeah. But it saved paper, and it saved space on inscriptions, like on stone columns and stuff. All right, 4. 4 is a toughie. This one is metaphorical. Hey, Moria, didosin. Don't give me any Lord of the Rings jokes now. It's not Moria. It's Moria. Moria. Or like Moriah. The emphasis is on the iota. Moria. Okay, so it's not Moria. So don't think of Balrogs. Okay. Hey, Moria, didosin anthropois kaka. Folly gives evil things to human beings. Yeah, gosh. And that's the one that we're going to try to diagram. All right, try to diagram it on yourself. Here is the... Here's a skeleton. Okay, anybody going to do it here? All right. Drum roll. Okay, hey. Moria. there's the main verb, right? There's the subject, there's the article. Didosin. Third person singular, present active indicative. It's a me verb, right? What do they give? Kaka. It's a direct object, accusative, plural, neuter. And then the indirect object is anthropos, two men. And that is in the dative case, dative, plural, and masculine. Right. All right, I hope that was helpful. A very short lesson. Remember, the homework, and I'll write this down, is to just copy the vocabulary, and I'll go over the vocab too, on pages 47 through 48. All right, that's 1. 2, I want you to just read the Greek and just try to pick it out. You don't have to write anything down. I just want you to attempt the Greek given from an Ephesian tale. So just read lines 4 through 7. And 3, finally, I want you to translate 1, 2, and 4 on page 47, which is the reading, and that's what we just did. So pay attention, read lectures. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Thank you for working on the homework and stuff and sending me the right stuff. I was a little boggled by what you sent me. The other thing is, it will benefit you if you take the time to study Warner's Handbook. I sent you the PDF, I believe it's public domain. It will really benefit you if you learn how to read more complicated English, to write more complicated English, and to think about clauses that are much more complex than we use now. To think about moods like the subjunctive, compound sentences, complex sentences, compound complex sentences, things like that, that still appear in English literature and we still use all the time. It's just generally our understanding's been removed from them because as a culture we've stopped studying grammar. Now this normally isn't a problem, right? We're native speakers, okay, no biggie. It is a problem, however, when you try to read a language like ancient Greek, which is not less complicated than ours. It is more complicated. Okay? Our philosophers are not more advanced than theirs. Right? Our language is not more nuanced. Okay. So, it does have a larger vocabulary. That's what English has. English has a humongous vocabulary. Biggest vocab of any language. Look it up. Cool stuff. All right. Well, goodbye for now. Kyra.